All right, basically everything you see here on the table, I got in the mail today. I got it on eBay, about $150, $160. I pretty much own everything here already. There was nothing I needed in this lot, but one thing that caught my eye was this little vise here, and it's missing a screw. It's a standard screw thread. It's got this little pop-up piece. That way you could adjust it and then put that right down there, and then get it to where it needs to be. And they center punched to give it a stippling effect on the sides right there. There's a pin stuck in there to take up the slop. It stops exactly at 90 degrees. And then you can see right here all the roundovers. The distance from there to there is perfect on all sides. A lot of attention to detail. And then in the corner right here, where the jaw meets the body, it's actually a nice roundover, perfectly fit. So, and this was all made by H.W. Hamel, and the best I could tell is he was born in 1921 and died in 2007 in Massachusetts. That's the only Harry W. Hamel that I could find any records of. So he did some incredible work here. Some of the stuff is it's questionable whether it was his or not. So a lot of things have his name on it, and everything's hardened and ground. So there we go. We got a nice little V-block for pins. Everything's kind of tight. This cap screw was probably added at some point. Also, this one little V-block has a different set of initials on it. But this is nice. I like the way they made a nice scribe line down the center. So if you're setting it up somewhere, you get a quick idea where the center is. And this is pretty tight. There were bars on everything. And everything's hardened. So all of the clamps and everything, basically everything you see on the table is hardened. And then there you go. Oh, upside down. So on these, he just punched his name, but on this pin V block right here, we got an "Thou shalt not steal" is what it says right there, and then his name is on there. But yeah, so this little vise was really what got me. It's very nice. It's got holes on the bottom if you want to mount it to something. It's got a couple holes on the sides for stops. I imagine that he made parallels that fit in here for a part. If you did that, and then you could grind them, and then just leave this right on the vise and use it for multiple part setups. Yeah, like I said, this piece was in the lot, but I don't think it was anybody special, and it looks like it was just pot metal. Don't know when that was made. But let's move on. We got a nice edge finder, beautifully ground. This had a bunch of burrs on it, and I just grabbed the stones, a set of flat stones, and cleaned them up a little bit. And then there's his name. So that's very nice. Two-piece edge finder. You could even hear as it starts to take down. These were the stones from my lathe, so they're kind of dirty. We looked at that. Then we got a nice all-angle V-block, or some people call them toolmakers V-block. So that's nice, and that's got his name right in the back right there, perfectly punched in. The milling is exactly the size of the punch, so that's nice. It's threaded. And that right there, it's threaded right there. And then it's a very tight fit. And then you got your side jacks right there, all brass. I haven't checked any of these for parallelism, squareness, or anything yet. I just unboxed them, so I don't know if some of them will need to be ground or not and checked. But there's a nice 5-inch sign bar. That should be 5-inch. I don't know why anybody would make anything else but 5-inch. Yeah, that's 5-inch. It's got a nice stop round with it. Right, and the 3 mount holes. Very nice stuff. Just a bone stock parallel set, and then his name's punched on the end, right there. Another nice little V block. I stoned the bottom of this already. I'm sure the top, since it looks like this, is going to be horrific, but... And one of the threads doesn't look too good on it. Like that thread right there. It's kind of chowdered up a bit, but that might work. Yeah, that thread's kind of chowdered. That looks like it broke out a little bit. Yeah, that's got too much on it. So we'll clean that up. This clamp right here, hardened. 1, 2, 3 blocks, which are usually specific to a person. I like these Swiss cheese style. I use these usually for on the mill if I'm bolting something down, but I almost never use these types of 1, 2, 3 blocks on the grinder because the dust gets in them and they never get cleaned. But there you go, nice set. They have surprisingly no rust on them, but lots of holes. There was one more thing that I saw here that, oh, it's this plate right here. So I like this angle plate right here. It's got a little attention to details that I like. Obviously hardened. It's got all the grooves right there. That way you could catch a shoulder on a pin if you got it or something. All right, so that was obviously, these were all done with a vertical mill. For the grinding relief, all he did was drill on center. And that's the original drill mark. He didn't ream the hole there because you could see the little where the swarf drags on the flutes. And then this had a lot of burrs on it, especially on this side. There was one big one right there. There was one right there. So I was just running this over and checking. But that's nice. I kind of needed one. My angle blocks. The V is on the side. I mean, my angle blocks, my angle plates. The V is on the side, and I wanted something with the V in the middle. And also mine have a small hole pattern for 1/4-20. So this is good if I wanted to bolt something up big. Makes life a little bit easier. So, and then his name was stamped on the top. This kind of leads me to believe that these were earlier, whereas when he started giving himself a nice recess, because this will grind off eventually if you keep cleaning this up, but this will stay for a long time, and it's hardened, so nobody's going to go down in there, grind that out. I mean, well, you're still alive. Sure they weren't using carbide end mills when he was so you weren't hard milling that. This has no markings on it, so I don't know if he made it or not, but the one thing I do know about it is that it was all done with a horizontal mill. So you can see the tooling marks left, and you could actually see where the tooling picked up right there. It's kind of tough to see, but this was really bad. This was rocking all over the place when I put it on the surface plate, and I wasn't even checking it. But there's no maker's marks on it. It works fine. I have about 4 of these, so I don't really need it. But and then a beautiful set of transfer blocks, which I feel like I can never have enough of. Transfer blocks, doesn't matter how they look, because typically every time you throw them down, you just dust them off to match the chuck, however you were, or at least I do. And then he's only got his name punched on one side, unless they ground it off on the other, but they look about the same length. So yeah, those are very nice. And that was it for that eBay lot. I got myself a nice little China threading insert. I have a few of these, but I wanted the 1/2 inch. I took apart a jig that I used to use, and this was bolted to the jig, so it's pretty rusty because it was basically put the part down in there. It was set up on the table. There was another vise over here, clamp it down, and that was it. So now I just got to clean it up. It's a cheap, I don't know, whatever they are, $50 or $70 or whatever. But it was built, you know, it was used for one specific job, and it did that job for a few years. So I gotta clean that up and then measure it and see. It was actually pretty square right out of the box, which it didn't need to be the way it was set up. It was really only clamping the part, and the fixture around it was what was holding it in place. And then the project I'm working on is I just took these out of the oven for powder coating. A couple other things, some cheap bench grinder that I've had for 20 years in my garage. I figured I'd clean it up and make a post for it. And that's it. But I hope seeing this inspires you to go look for some cool stuff on eBay that was made by somebody who's probably long dead, but put a lot of time and effort into these tools and probably used them for a lifetime. So, hope you enjoyed.